First of all, you can imagine in a small country like Norway, now it's all about in Norway who we're going to play in the final. I mean, that is the optimism in this country. This is the optimism in this country at the moment. But I think that the main challenge for Norway is Norway itself, because when we were there in 1994, I had the pleasure to play in USA at that time. 1998 and 2000, we went to the European Championship. The trend was that we were a better team in the qualification games. When we came to the championship, we were struggling. So this is the first challenge for Ståle Solbakken. I think, as you were saying in your initial there, that Ståle Solbakken has been a player, a former teammate of mine. He's been around and he knows the traps you can go into. That is good for us. So I think that's the first thing, is to understand how do we play in a neutral ground. And as for the qualification, I mean, we had a very weak group, so I'm going to be devil's advocate. We played Italy. I mean, that is that's not the hardest opponent we could have, is it?
Yeah, Jan, so the expectations for this group now, right? Outside of course, as you mentioned, winning the World Cup, we saw the group, we showed the group here, but what's the expectation? If I'm a Norwegian fan right now, you've got big names, you mentioned a couple of them, you mentioned Sørloth and Ødegaard, and a whole bunch of names that are kind of household names, if you will. So what are Norwegian fans looking at this group and expecting them to do?
I think that you know, the guys who have seen us through the qualification, the guys who see Erling Haaland, Sørloth in La Liga, Martin Ødegaard, the captain of Arsenal, one of the Norwegians will lift the Premier League trophy this season. The optimism is great. I'm a fan too. I've been a fan of the national team. I was fortunate to play for them, but I'm also a fan, and I'm a bit worried, because that is the way I go into games. When we played in Italy, and if Italy won 9-0, we would be knocked out. And when they scored after 5 minutes, I calculated in my head that we will lose 9-0. So I'm that kind of fan. But to be realistic, I mean, we play Iraq at the first game, which is a must-win for us to get a good start. We saw Senegal at the AFCON, how good they can be. And someone said, yeah, we'll play France in the last game. They will play with a reserve team. I mean, it's possible to make a case that the second team of France in that group stage will be better than the first team. About boys who want to show the champs that they are there to stay. So I can see our team. I can see how dependent we are on Erling Haaland, and he scored 5, 6, 7 goals. He can do that. We know he can do that. I see a midfield of Martin Ødegaard. There's been a lot of injury around. Now he's got 2 90 minutes, which is good for us. And I will put another key player forward, and you mentioned it, Alexander Sørloth. Because he's a top scorer, one of the top scorers in the La Liga. He's always get enough goals, scored 2 goals this weekend again. The good thing about him, he's a very intelligent football player. He understands his positioning. He's playing in a right in midfield, because it's not a big secret that Erling Haaland doesn't like to have a striking partner. So Ståle Solbakken has more or less created this role for Alexander Sørloth, complement to Solbakken, complement also to Alexander. And I mean, I think it was 16 goals Erling had in the qualification games, with Sørloth was a key to it. He understands how to position himself, how to be a supporter for Erling, because whatever he do, he will never get a leading role. He's also starring in a Hollywood film, so he is around there. But to understand that with the kind of proudness any player will have, big compliment to the Atletico Madrid player.
Yeah, and you mentioned, I call them the big three: Sørloth, Ødegaard and Haaland. Tell us who else are, in your eyes, really important components of this side, perhaps the lesser-known names.
Yeah, I will start with a player in midfield who is more or less next to Martin Ødegaard, Sander Berge from Fulham, an underestimated player. Maybe now really that player that we said 2 years ago he was. Now he is that guy. A coach will see whatever he's doing. He's not the one who will score a screamer or will have man of the match maybe performances, but he's always there. He's very important for this team. And a player that is much better for Norway than he is for RB Leipzig is Nusa on the left side. He takes on people unbelievable. He was one of the key players as well. Then we have a bit worrying at the other side because Oscar Bobb, who played for Manchester City, he was then signed by Fulham, and he hasn't kind of broken through yet. So. No. Now he can't get in a good Fulham team, but I still think it's a right move for him because the lad needs to play football. So those are more or less the strength, and I guess you will have to ask me about the weakness as well, because what you heard now from me, I haven't even started with our defense, our goalkeeper.
Well, you led me to I'll ask you about the goalkeeper. We heard about Nikita Haken during Champions League, chance to maybe play for Norway. Nyland's been the goalkeeper. I think he's got the most caps in that group as well. What do you think happens in the goalkeeping position?
Well, Örjan Nyland only played for Norway. I think since September he hasn't played for Sevilla, which is a weakness for us. We played now the Netherlands and Switzerland. He played 1.5 games, and it was good for him that he was okay those 2 games, because there would then be a lot of speculations what's going to happen to him. In terms of Hakimi, he's ready for selection now. But Ståle Solbakken has been very clear that Örjan Nyland will be the fixed starter in the first game. I mean, he will have to listen to the details, but he's playing Örjan Nyland. I think that is important that he will get that support from him. But Hakimi will be second keeper, or at least he will be in the squad. I'm 100% he will be in the squad, because we have to do that, because he's a calm guy and with the experience of the Champions League. And our challenge is that we need a good goalkeeper, because we have 2 centre half in Heggem, who's played for Bologna. We had Heggem and Haaland now play both for Bologna this weekend, by the way. We have Ayer, who is struggling to get into the Brentford team. We had Wolfe, who's playing on the left side, who is struggling to get into the Wolves team. Imagine that. And then on the right side, maybe the best defender we have is Ryerson, who plays at Dortmund. He made an assist again. He's very good on set pieces. So he is the strength there at the back. But it makes me worrying, this defense part that used to be the strength of Norway.
So, Jan, you played in 1994 here in the United States in that first World Cup here in this country. Obviously, the eyes of the football world will be all over North America this summer. Completely different environment when it comes to football in 1994 to now. What was your experience playing in 94 in the United States back then? And how much have you seen the sport grow in North America since that time?
Well, first of all, there was an unbelievable experience that I'm very, very proud of. When we qualified in 1998, that was the first time since 1938. So even I wasn't around at that time. And so it was a fantastic way to kind of crown a career for the national team. We had a very good national team at that moment, but we were in a group of death. We are all 4 teams, Ireland, Italy, and Mexico, ended on 4 points, which was, and we had to go home, but still a fantastic experience. In terms of the American US football, I can see the development. I love to see that. So I had my son at Duke. He played with a lot of the players I know following MLS. I noticed this weekend that Whitey scored 2 goals for Vancouver. He used to be the striker at Duke at the soccer program there. Yeah. So brilliant. I love to follow it, and you can see now the players getting younger and younger when they get there. I just wondering back, why couldn't I go to USA at that time when I ended my career? I went back to Norway. I should have gone to the USA.
We would have loved you here after that Major League Soccer starting in 1996. Jan Åge Fjørtoft, thank you so much for joining us, getting us ready for Norway this summer, back in the World Cup for the first time in 28 years. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.